All right, Browns fans, let's get into this ESPN article by Seth Wickersham. It goes deep. And it's a good article, too. Kind of goes at the Haslams a little bit. If all that stuff is true, he got a lot of intel from a lot of different players that was inside that building through all these changes. Deals with the 5 different front office changes in 6 years, and from Banner to Lombardi to Ray Farmer to Sashi. A lot of good stuff in that. Let's dive into some of the points that I like. The article really goes at the Haslams, talking about Jimmy wanted to be a football guy. Talked to coaching staff all the times, all different levels of coaching staff, which some of the coaches thought he was trying to pit one against the other. I think that's someone trying to acquire knowledge. And personally, when my employer talks to me, I appreciate that. I appreciate they want my input and my feedback. The last thing I can't stand about any employer is when they don't talk to you at all. And, you feel like you a peon. They can't even waste a breath on you. So I don't agree with that scenario at all. I do value that kind of leadership. I value people who want input and try to learn. It takes time to learn how to do things right. I'm really into music. If you watch my channel, you know I'm into music. And before I got good, I did a lot of things wrong. It took about 6-7 years before I started doing things right. And I'm still not, I'm still learning to this day. That's just how it is, but it takes time. It took a few years before Jimmy, believe me, there's a lot of other organizations that's still taking longer to do what Jimmy Haslam has been trying to do. I just think it's time. It was time overall. They just needed time, and he had to see what worked and what didn't work. A lot of things didn't work. He didn't keep doing it. It's the people who keep doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. You know what they call that? That's called insanity. So, I think the Haslam's got a little bad rap in this article. In this article, Ray Farmer is one of the people who kind of came out and said a little dirt. I didn't hear much from Banner and Lombardi. They kept it kind of professional when quoted in this article, but you could tell Farmer felt a certain kind of way. One of the things Ray Farmer talked about was how Haslam on draft day brought a guest full of people into the draft room. It is usual for the owners to bring them in and see what it looks like, but he said this time during the draft day, which was Farmer's first draft day, they had the guests there the whole time during the whole draft. Farmer had 10 picks plus an extra first-round pick from the Trent Richardson trade. He had a lot to work with. His #1 pick that he wanted was Brandon Cooks, which would have been a great pick, Ray Farmer. I knew you knew football. I was backing you when you was there. If I'm correct, Pettin wanted Justin Gilbert. When Manziel started to drop, Farmer buckled in and went ahead and got Manziel instead of going with his heart and getting Brandon Cooks. He just got promoted to the GM position a few months earlier, and he caved in and got what his owner wanted. Owner wanted Manziel, he wanted Brandon Cooks. I'm sorry, Ray Farmer. If to quote the Eminem song, you gotta lose yourself right now. This is your time to shine. This is your time to make your name in the league. You gotta stand up to your owner and say, no, this is my shot, I'm taking it. Whether I sink or swim, I'm going with this the pick I'm going with right here. We're picking Brandon Cooks. And he should have also said, and I need you and your friends to get out of this draft so we can do this the way I want to do it. I'm sorry, bro. You needed to do that. That's what you needed to do. You needed to man up, take the opportunity that was given to you. You played it wrong. And you can't blame nobody. You can't blame nobody but yourself. I'm sorry. Y'all can't put this on Haslam. That's what rich owners want to do. But you was hired to make the hard decisions. Part of the hard decisions to make was kicking Haslam and his family out of that draft room and then making the pick that your heart told you to make. Bruh, that falls on nobody but you. Farmer should have did what Sashi did. When they gave the job to Sashi was like, look, if you're going to blow this up, let me know now. I ain't going to take it if you're going to blow this up. The fact that Jimmy Haslam accepted something like, don't even come to the games for the next 2 years, because this is what we're doing. This is Moneyball. You don't even want to see this. And that he bought in, he took that. That means Sasha sold his vision. Farmer didn't sell his vision at all. In fact, Farmer didn't even try to sell his vision. But Sashi sold his vision to his owner, and his owner bought it. Haslam had one more lesson to learn, and from what I hear, they wanted Sean McDermott. The organization wanted Sean McDermott. Haslam wanted Hugh. The organization felt Sean McDermott was the better coach, and Haslam was sold on Hugh. But once again, it was Sashi that sold Jimmy Haslam on Moneyball. And I'm sorry, guys. Y'all don't give him enough credit. Sashi should get more credit. Moneyball put us in the position that we are in today. We get Dorsey, we got Garrett, we get Baker. It's the picks that they acquired with Moneyball. Y'all just do not give him the credit that he deserves. Sashi Brown did his thing. Now, this article, for me, and any other married man reading this article, you should have got it, is that Dee Haslam is the hero. I could tell she was the right person, that had the right kind of mindset when she decided to cut sponsorship prices because we was losing. She said that's just good business. I think that's good business also. And the fact that she was heard inside the facility saying, we don't know what we're doing. That's big. That's big, and I'll tell you why that's big. Because any married man knows that if she's talking like that at the facility, we know how she's talking at back home. She probably looked at Jimmy and said, look, there's one common factor with all this, with all these changes, Banner, Lombardi, Ray Farmer, Sashi Brown, Trenton Richardson, Johnny Manziel. It's you, Jimmy. It's you. You need to step out the way. And I think he listened. That's when we got John Dorsey. If you look at the timeline of the article, that's when we got Dorsey. Right after that. We get John Dorsey, no guest in the draft room, all John's picks. John establishes his culture, and Jimmy's not there no more. Jimmy Haslam he's there as an owner, but his input in there. We could thank Dee for that. We could thank Dee for that. Because of that, we don't have Jerry Jones. Because that's what Jimmy Haslam was trying to be. Both from Texas, both got the white hair. We could have had that. And Lord knows we don't want that. We got Dorsey. We got the right guy. Great article by Seth. I don't like the way he tried to spin it to Haslam. I mean, if you don't know, you don't know. And I love anybody who can go through things and adapt and change and humble themselves and be like, look, let me get somebody who knows what they're doing, run the ship. And that's what happened. See you next time. Browns in our blood.